We begin with that high-stakes game of chicken on Capitol Hill. John Carl is right in the thick of it. And, John, what we've got going on right now, Republicans saying they're not going to vote on anything until these taxes are dealt with. Democrats, meanwhile, moving forward on a plan this morning to simply extend the tax cuts for middle-class Americans. That's all the public theater. But what's going on behind closed doors? Are they making progress towards a deal?
George, it's all about those behind-the-scenes negotiations. And negotiators with the White House and the Congress met for 3 hours yesterday. They meet again today. Still no tangible signs of progress there. And, George, it is taking place amidst the backdrop of what looks like partisan meltdown. Democrats are absolutely infuriated that Republicans are blocking everything here in the Senate. And over in the House, Republicans are livid that the Democrats are going forward with a tax vote that they are absolutely opposed to and they believe runs counter to the spirit of these negotiations.
The bottom line for the Republicans is pretty clear. They've made it very clear. They don't want any tax increases right now on anyone. Have the Democrats figured out what they need in return in order to extend the tax cuts?
The first thing that they need is for it to be temporary. They will not agree to a permanent extension of those tax cuts. So that's number one. The other big issue for them is the unemployment extension. And they will insist that as part of this, there's an extension of unemployment benefits. But, George, look for a fight on that because Republicans are saying that any extension of unemployment benefits must be paid for.
Okay, and we're going to get into that with the negotiators coming up. But bottom line, you say there are no tangible signs of progress yet. Will there be a deal?
I think there will be a deal, but, George, we may bring this right up to the Christmas season before it happens.
John Carl, thanks very much.
What you and John were just referring to, George, you can talk about the gridlock over extending those long-term employment benefits. It's hitting families so incredibly hard. Some are going to be cut off today, and Claire Shipman is also in Washington and has much more on that. Good morning, Claire.
Good morning, Robin. This is one of the most explosive issues that Congress is arguing over. Democrats say that millions of Americans are going to be affected in the next few weeks and that not extending those benefits will hurt the economy. Republicans say those extended benefits are just too expensive unless they're paid for.
Edry Irvine never thought her very livelihood would depend on a political debate in Congress.
They are talking about tax cuts for the rich and are holding people like me hostage.
But she and about 2 million other unemployed Americans are caught up in a Capitol Hill showdown.
Where, I ask, is the moral outrage?
And are about to have a profound impact on the economy. The Labor Department is predicting a sort of benefits loss tsunami. By December 11th, 635,000 unemployed will lose benefits. By Christmas, it will be 1.6 million without benefits. Almost 2 million people by the new year. And at the end of January, 3.25 million will be cut off. This press conference in Washington drew hundreds of unemployed workers from around the country.
This is something that is not only good for these families, it's the right thing to do in a downturn in our economy.
Most states fund at least 26 weeks of unemployment benefits, but the federal government has been offering an additional 73 weeks of help. Congressional Republicans now argue the cost is too high, and then in order to be extended, other budget cuts need to be found. But many economists argue unemployment benefits actually help the economy because the unemployed have to spend that money immediately.
The emergency unemployment insurance program puts $5 to $6 billion into the economy each and every month. So you total that up over a year, that's $80 billion. That's a lot of money.
And a critical safety net for people like Angel Garland, unemployed for almost a year.
I'm raising my son, single mom. I'm thinking to myself, what will I do? You know, where will I go?
Now, it's estimated that over the course of this financial crisis, these federal benefits have kept some 3 million Americans out of poverty. And by the way, George, retailers are worried, too. The holiday season isn't a time when they want to see less spending power in the economy.
That's right. They're afraid that could damage the potential of an economic recovery. Okay, Claire Shipman, thanks very much. We're now going to talk to two of the 6 men trying to decide all this, meeting behind closed doors on Capitol Hill. Congressman Dave Kemp, Republican of Michigan, Democrat Chris Van Hollen of Maryland. Gentlemen, thanks to you both. We heard John Carl say so far no tangible progress in your negotiations. Congressman Kemp, let me start with you. Are you making any progress? What specifically have you agreed on?
Well, we've really just begun our discussions, and we're really trying to set the parameters of the debate and the issues that we're going to face. But I think it is so important that we prevent a tax hike so that we can get this economy moving again and get job creation going again. We've been stuck at high unemployment for more than 15 months. And so that's why this is such a critical time. And we're talking, and we're going to continue to do that.
And Congressman Van Hollen, I know that one of the top priorities for the Democrats, of course, is extending those unemployment benefits. Many Republicans say they want to do that. They just want to see it paid for, including Senator Scott Brown of Massachusetts. He came up with a proposal yesterday saying just take the money that is sitting around inside government coffers right now and isn't being spent. Here's what he said.
Bank account, credit card. How about you folks up there? Bank account, credit card. Okay? I know what I want to do. I'll use the bank account. Let's use money that's already in the system and put it to good use immediately.
What's wrong with that?
George, is that you?
Yeah, go ahead. Respond.
We need to do right away today pass the unemployment compensation. We had a vote in the House a short time ago. Unfortunately, our Republican colleagues did not support it. As your economist said, when you're in an economic downturn, we have traditionally made sure that people who are thrown out of work through no fault of their own can get the unemployment compensation. It makes no sense in the world to be taking money out of the economy at the same time when you're trying to make sure that there's a push in the economy through making sure that these people continue to have the ability to pay their rent, go to the store and put food on the table. So that's why we have the so-called counter-cyclical impact of unemployment compensation to begin with.
Congressman Kemp, this is a lifeline for the people on unemployment right now, and it's important to our economic recovery.
Well, George, as Scott Brown said, we want to do this in a responsible way. Republicans are for extending unemployment benefits, and if we're serious about it, let us have an opportunity to vote on a bill that is paid for. In the House, what's done is they bring a bill, but it's restricted. We can't vote for an unemployment bill that's paid for. Let us do that. If we do that, I'm sure it'll get bipartisan support, it'll pass, and we'll take care of the problem.
No way to pay for it, Congressman Van Hollen?
But George, let me just, we were talking about the tax issue a little earlier. So these guys say you've got to pay for about $13 billion in emergency unemployment compensation for people who are out of work through no fault of their own. But they want a permanent extension of the tax cuts for the folks at the very top, which adds $700 billion, and they don't want to pay one dime for that. So this is the kind of conversation we've been having up here, and hopefully we can sort our way through it.
That does seem to be a double standard, Congressman.
Well, it is about preventing a tax hike, and that's the issue. It's about preventing a tax hike. These are benefits that we want to see paid for. We've got an opportunity to do that. If we could get a chance to vote on a tax bill that actually prevented the tax hikes, I'm sure it would pass. But again, they're going to bring a bill to the floor that's restricted. We won't have an opportunity to offer something that actually will have a working majority and move it on to the
George, let me just stop you one thing, because I'm listening to both of you right now, and this is the similar talking points what we've heard from each side for several weeks and months right now. The clock is ticking. We're right up against these deadlines. And you two are actually in the room negotiating a deal. It sounds like you're farther apart than ever. Bottom line, are you going to reach a deal or not?
Well, George, we're working very hard to do it. But the first thing we need to do is work through the process. The President and the House Democrats have a very clear position on this. We want to make sure that we expand tax cuts for the middle class. And I should also point out that every single American gets a tax break from that. In fact, under that plan, if you're over $250,000, you still benefit from all the tax relief up to $250,000. So every American gets tax relief. It's just they don't get this bonus $100,000 per average for millionaires tax cut. So that is our position. Now, whether we can get that through the Senate is another question. And we have begun these conversations in the event that we're not able to move immediately on those middle-class tax cuts, which is the fiscally responsible thing to do.